Everyone, Business Players Live, where we play business and we played hard, okay? And I just came up with that. This is the first time I say it. I hope you guys liked it. But anyways, today we have a great speaker, and before I jump on presenting her because she's incredible, I just want to say again, I always say this, thank you guys for supporting the show, it's of course. And I was just talking to Patricia that, now we're finally being monetized, not because we're not really making a lot of money or anything with this. It's like nothing, and that's not the reason why I do it. But let me tell you what's happening. It's helping us to grow more, not because of the money, but because we're getting more views and stuff. So that's awesome, and I'm very excited. And another thing is, please, everyone watching this, subscribe to the channel because we're about to hit 3,000. And that's super cool. When I started this, we were at like maybe 250. So it's being awesome. So thank you guys for that. And let's jump right into it. We have an amazing person today. Her name is Patricia. You correct me on your last name, my friend. Bourgeois?
Bourgeois. It's French.
Bourgeois. Okay, Bourgeois. I love it. And I love wine. We'll talk about wine later. But anyways, Anna is an intuitive business coach and podcaster. She's gonna help us a lot with podcasts and all those things in this life, hopefully. Her mission is to help ambitious women entrepreneurs double their sales and increase their revenue without spending extra dollars on marketing or advertising. Especially, that's huge for the people, you guys watching us. You're starting a business and you don't have a lot of money to play with. This is gonna be great for you, okay? So she's badass on that. So she believes that every woman has the power to be financial and their own boss without, wearing themselves out, which we all do, right? As business owners, that's terrible, and the stress and all these things, anxiety, right? We all suffer from because we're business owners and we take a lot. So, and Anna helps these ladies to get from 1 to 2K to 5+ K a month through the power of personal branding, social media, and mindset in less than 90 days. So 3 months. So, I'm sure she's selling herself short. So we're gonna know more about her in a second. But without further ado, thank you and welcome Anna Patricia. Your last name, my friend? I don't want to screw it. What's your last name?
Bourgeois.
Bourgeois. Okay, welcome, my friend. Woo! Welcome to Business Players Live.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is awesome.
Oh, it's great, and now it's even better because you're here with us. But tell us, how's everything for you? How's business? How is life in general? What's going on?
So much is going on. Like you just told everyone, I'm a podcaster. I also have my own show, and it's been growing exponentially, and it's really changed the game for me. And I cannot wait to dive deeper into podcasting. But yeah, like I've been working on the show. I've been meeting amazing women every day. I've been, growing my offerings, my product suite. I'm launching a new program, a new mastermind. Like I'm just, like in this momentum energy, and it's so fun. And yeah, I'm really excited to meet you, to chat, to give value. Like that's what I'm all about.
Yes, and that's what we do here, my friend. And I know you have lots to give. And I mainly try to work with women, and I'll tell you why. And I was talking about that in the last episode yesterday, I believe it was, that women are super logical. You girls make, most of the time the right decision because you're not as emotional as men. And I was just saying that yesterday, and maybe some people will say like, oh man, that sounds weird. But I do, like I did a research. Okay, I did a research for the last 200 clients that we've had. That was like 6 months ago or something in all the time that I've been doing business, which is 3 years, but I've been doing websites for 9 and 6. So I did all this research in these 200 clients, and we found out that the best customers that we want are girls, because you guys make a decision and you know what you want, and it's way easier, and you're very logical. So you girls pull the trigger if you can, right? Like if it makes sense and you can do it. Where men, we're like always undecided, right? Like we're like, oh my God, I don't know, man, or this is so expensive. The girls don't even care how expensive it is, and that's why I believe ladies have a bigger shot in business. You ladies watching, like, you're badass. But I want you to inspire our friends here. The biggest thing about this show is we all have an amazing story, and you have an amazing story too, Anna. And I want you to share that with our friends here, because we all come from somewhere and we all have something to share that is amazing, and you will inspire someone that maybe is at the position you were in before you got into all this crazy stuff, and you can help them a lot. So share with us what's Anna's story of, from the beginning, as you can.
Okay, so how long do we have?
Oh no, I mean, we don't worry, just go and
yeah. Awesome. So it all comes down from my childhood, to be honest. So I'm actually born in the Dominican Republic. Hablo español.
Okay.
Mi mamá es dominicana. Soy
Nice.
latina también. So it's like my mom
Nice.
really immigrated here to Canada when I was a year old. And then my parents, my father is French Canadian. So like I'm trilingual. I speak 3 languages, but at 15 years old, my parents divorced, right? So my father left and my mom was working in a 9-to-5 job. And I had to take a lot of responsibilities very young. I had to go and get 2 part-time jobs. I was studying full-time. I had to take care of my little brother. I had to like help my mom financially, and it was a struggle. Like I've seen it firsthand, like the hardships and the challenges of like not truly living off your passions and just having a job because you have to make ends meet and you have to pay bills and you have to pay this, and never having enough to actually enjoy your life. So I saw that at a very young age, and I was like, I'm going to make a promise to myself today that I'm going to find something that I love doing, that I'm passionate about, and that I'm going to get paid very well doing it. Nice. So I left it at that. Like, obviously I had no idea how it would play out, but then I just went to university. Like Latino parents are like, you gotta get a degree, like.
Yeah.
So I went to university, I got my degree, I did an internship in a digital marketing agency. And this is where I learned everything about social media, video, photo, editing, client work, copywriting, like all the jazz. And then I was just like, I can start my own agency. And I remember I was like, 17 years old, 18 years old. And I had like $1,000 left in my account. And I saw this Ty Lopez course about starting your own marketing agency. I'm like, I'm signing up for this. So I signed up and I learned everything. And I really enjoyed it for the first few months. I had a few clients, but then I realized, I'm like, I love the client work. I love when I'm able to answer my client's question and see the shifts that happens, the result that happens because of it. So one day I'm like, how can I help people? Like, how can I help people on a deeper level reach their goals? So I go on Google, the classic Google search, I'm like, how can I help? And I find this coaching school. I had no idea about coaching, what coaching was, nothing at all. But I just read that website page and I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to sign up for this. Yes, this is for me. It was like a 6 months double certification about a life coach and health coach. And it was accredited by ICF and all of that. So I signed up for it and I got certified and I learned the transformational coaching method and all of that. And that was in end of 2019. And then I hired my first coach, obviously. And then from there, I started working on, showing up online, growing my audience, creating my packages, my offerings. And it took me about 6 months before I got my first premium client. And as soon as I got that client, I was like, if I can do this once, I can do this twice and again
Yeah.
and again and again and again.
Yeah.
Like this is possible, right? So I went all in. I quit my 9 to 5, June 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. I had no idea what was going to happen, but I just knew that if I focused, if I put all my energy, all my efforts, this would work out. Like I was certain. I had that faith. I had that trust. And then 3 months later, I had my first 10K month. And then my mind was just blown. I'm like, okay, this works. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, like after that, I started my podcast, and like everything is just like mind blowing. Like anything is possible, really. Like, most of the time, we wait for the perfect time. We wait to feel ready. We wait until we have more followers. We wait until we feel more confident to go for our dreams, to go like and take that action. But we have to decide today and trust that this is for us, that this will work. If I do 1% more than I did yesterday, if I reach out to one more people, if I post one more thing, if I do one more interview, like it's bound to happen. And I think that's the biggest message I want to share with people. It's like, you got to trust, you got to go for it, even if it's scary. And it will happen.
No, I love it, Anna. The same, where I was doing like 3,000 on my business before I quit my day job. Well, no, sometimes I did like 6 grand, something like that. And but when I quit my job, as soon as I quit my job and I went all in, it happened kind of like you. I remember I used to say, who can make, or it's even possible to make above 10 grand. And the second month in business, I did 15, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, the next challenge was going, above that. I saw at that time, I was like, oh, I can do this again. But, there are other challenges that come up.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah. Many, many, many challenges. But anyways, like, that's exactly what happened to me. Kind of the same thing. And, but it was like, I was like, man, anything is possible. And it is true. Anything is possible, especially if you're doing business and you know what you're doing, which is why, you need to know. You need to know, and you need to really execute, like you were saying, on the right things at the right time and everything. And that's why, I mean, you got to have some help. And we're going to talk more about everything that you do and stuff. But like, so you from a young age, you kind of knew like this was your call, right? Like this is what you were meant to be doing, kind of, right?
Well, I knew I wanted more. I knew I didn't want to settle for a mediocre job and suffering every day of being like, oh my gosh, like I'm in this job, I hate it, and I cannot pay my bills, and I'm not making enough to live my life, right? I just made that promise that I would like find something that allowed me to live off my passion. Obviously, I had no idea how it would pan out, but I figured it out.
And how important, Anna, and everyone here, please leave in the comments what your passion is right now while we're live. And if you watch the YouTube video later, please leave in the comments too, and Anna and I will reply, and we'll say something in the comments. But how important, Anna, not just following your dreams, but starting a business based on your passion, or just following that passion and going for it. How important do you think that is?
It is everything. It is everything. Like building a business off of alignment, off of who you are, off of what you're good at and passionate about is so important, because you're going to have days where you're like, why did I get, like, what did I get myself into? Like, we all have those days, no matter at what stage we're at. We're like, oh my gosh, can I keep going? Can I really do this? And then we start to doubt ourselves. But if our passion and drive is big enough, that's what is going to get us through those days when it sucks.
I think it is a very important thing, because I think we, especially the people watching us, probably we've all been in a job that we didn't like, and every day that we go there, we feel like we're dying or something. Like we're like, man, if I keep going to this job, I'm gonna die. Somehow, some way, something bad's gonna happen, or I just can't stand the people, or every time I go, and I hope it's not your situation, and if it is, you can change it, right? You have control over that. But like I've been in that position, and it's very, it's painful. Like it's like it's ripping you out, like destroying your heart or something. It's like it's really bad, right? So I think it's important that people watching this, they hear that out, and they hear like, man, if you don't feel good at doing what you're doing, that's not your passion, like find a way, right? Find a way to like that's what you did. So no, I'm
and you
happy
can
to
start
hear that.
small. You can start really small too.
Yeah,
It
baby
doesn't need
steps.
to be a huge jump. It can be the baby steps. Just
Yeah,
start
baby.
listening to like a podcast or read a book
Yeah.
or join a Facebook group. Like do something to
Yeah.
get you started.
Yeah, totally. No, yeah. The thing is like we're getting to we have a problem, right? And is that we want to be Grant Cardone and we just started, or we want to be Bill Gates and we just started, instead of like, hey, I'm gonna be me and I'm gonna grow myself and I'm gonna do big stuff at my level. Like what is something big for you at your level? You'll know like everything right now, but just execute on it, right, Anna? Pretty much.
Exactly.
But I think you already kind of said, like, I saw this and I read this post and this thing, and you did the course with Ty Lopez and stuff. And but what was the why of becoming a business coach? What was the why? And a podcaster?
I love that question. So I always knew that helping others was something that was fulfilling for me. Like just being able to make someone day better, or like help my clients get better at what they do, or trust themselves more, or grow their faith in themselves and what they're capable of. Like I always say that I'm a coach sultan. So I do coach people to get to their own truth, but I also consult and I also tell them the hard stuff. Like if I see something, I'm going to tell them, I'm saying this with love, but like, let's do this, or let's change that, or let's pivot in this direction, or try this. Like I've coached so many women. I've had businesses myself. I know what typically works really well and what doesn't. So I'm not afraid of sharing that knowledge and that experience as well. So yeah, like the reason why I do what I do is because I want to help women truly become financially free, be their own boss, and actually enjoy the process, actually enjoy the journey. Because I'm guilty of this too, where like we're so busy chasing the results, we're so busy chasing the clients, the money, the success, all of that, and we forget that like we didn't create a business to create a second 9 to 5. And be glued to your computer every day and like not enjoying your life. So it's a balance. It's a balance of everything. So yeah, like I'm a master at helping my clients figure that balance for themselves, figure out how they want to show up in this world, figure out what their messaging is, their offerings are. If they want to start a podcast, I help them like start that process. If they want to start a TikTok account, I help them with that, and Instagram. Like it really depends what the client, what their goals are, what their desires are, what their lifestyle, like what's your goal for that, and then we create it around that, and not the other way around, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So of course, I think like I have a business coach, and the biggest thing, like you said, you're starting a business and it's overwhelming, and there's all these things you gotta do, or you think you gotta do, because that's the things that you think you gotta do and you end up doing and you never had to do, or at least at this time, because we're chasing we're chasing Grant Cardone, or we're chasing Tony Robbins, and And of course, we're not at their level. So they're doing a full-blown mastermind with 200 people. And we're like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do masterminds from now on. And I'm going to, I'm going to start, telling people to buy my $3,000 package in the mastermind. And then you never do it because it's so big, right? That you get depressed. But if you do it, then you don't get the results you expected because you're not Grant Cardone. You don't spend $1 million in ads a year and all this stuff. So with that being said, how do you think? And this is something I recently learned too, because I'm getting more realistic with my goals and stuff. But I'm a guy that says like, and I'm still shooting for the stars, but you can't reach the stars without the rocket. But you can't build a rocket without, like the right fuel, the right parts of the rocket, and you start with maybe a little car that moves. Like you got to start somehow, right? So how important is having realistic goals? You think that is for a business owner that is starting, just recently started, or a person that for whatever reason they're like, man, I want to shoot to the stars, but it seems like I'm not even moving. Like how important you think that is for? Because that's something I recently learned. Like I know you can tell us a lot about that.
Yeah. So I always keep it real. Like even if you go follow me on Instagram right now, you're gonna see that I keep things real. And I always tell people, like the people you put on a pedestal, the people you look up to, the Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardone, all of these people, they've been in business for years. Like they've been doing this for so long. They have teams behind them. Like they're not a one woman or one man show, right?
No.
And they've mastered their craft, right? So I always tell people like, you gotta be, aware that starting and building a business is simple, but it's not easy. Right?
Not.
There's a lot of sacrifices, a lot of things that go into it. Yeah. And people don't see that because Instagram is the highlight reel. Like people don't want to show when they're struggling. People don't want to tell the stories when like they're struggling or they're in burnout or like whatever's happening. Like people don't share that, right? So I'm always there to remind people like, look, this is a highlight reel. Everyone is struggling in some type of way.
Yeah, totally. Everyone is. Everyone is. Yeah. And then, so let's say, of course, you keep it real for people and stuff. But what would be something you would tell this person that just started and they're like, man, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and all like they're coming up with all these things they're gonna be doing, but they just started, right? And they don't really know what the best thing, the next big thing is. Been in business before, and they have no idea what they're doing. So what would be something that you would tell these people, like you should do this, or what would that be?
So there's two things that come up to that question.
Okay.
The first thing that comes up is you already know what to do. Like it's already inside of you. Like you have all the answers within you. You just got to be brave enough to silence the ego, silence the mind, and truly listen to what your intuition is telling you. And sometimes that next move can be scary, but it's the actual thing that is going to help you unlock the next level and the next level. And the other thing I want to say to this is hire help, get help in any way possible.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a balance. I think it's a balance of having that support and that trust in your own self and your own intuition in what's best for you in that next step, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And how do you find that out, Anna?
What do you mean?
How do you find out like what is the next big thing if you're on by your own and all of that? How would that be? Like how can I do that if I'm a small business owner? I don't know. I just started, and I have all these incredible ideas. How do any of them? Like how can I go about knowing what is the best thing to do at this time?
Yeah. So I would say to start with one thing and going with it. And what I mean by this is when I started this business, I started in the health coaching niche, right? And I stuck with it for at least 3 months until I truly made an executive decision, a CEO decision that niche wasn't for me. So I pivoted into the purpose niche. And then I pivoted again into the business niche. So when you start, there's a lot of pivot. There's a lot of like identity shifts. There's a lot of you discovering what is for you and what is not for you. But you got to start and pick something and run with it long enough to know if that is for you or not. Does that help?
Oh, a lot. And then something they should do too, Anna, maybe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is like be ready for the change, right? Like be flexible, because you just started. You have no idea what's gonna happen from now on. You have never done this. Like it's not like this is your second business, this is your very first business or whatever in most people's cases, right? So you gotta be flexible, I guess, right? You should.
Yes. Absolutely. You got to be flexible. You got to be coachable. You got to keep that student mindset of like, I'm always learning. I'm always growing. Like I'm a masterpiece in process. Like that's always what I say to people, right? I'm not perfect. I'm not there yet. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. And if you have that mindset, you're going to get there for sure.
You're gonna blow up. I love it. I love it, my friend. And so tell us, how important is having a podcast and a personal branding for your business? A personal brand. How important is a personal brand for your business?
It's so important. It's everything. Your brand is truly what will attract the right clients and what will repel the wrong people, right? Because our goal is not to work with everyone. Our goal is to work with our people, the people we know we can help get to their goals, So your brand is really an extension of who you are. So the more you understand who you are, the more you own it, the more you show up vulnerably, the more you share your stories, the more you make people feel something. Because people have this idea that a brand is like a logo or a picture or like a color or a font, but like your brand is how you make people feel. And I can't tell you enough how many people come to me and they're like, Anna, I love your energy. Like, how can I work with you? Like, they don't even care about the info, how long the coaching is, how many sessions, whatever. They're just like, Anna, you're my coach. Like, I just love your energy. And it's honestly all that it is. Like, how do you make people feel? What do you make them feel? Do they feel confused? Do they feel like they're not enough if they read your post? Or do they feel empowered and inspired and like, oh my gosh, I can do this, I can do that. Let's go, let's move, So it's really important.
And it's funny you say that, because that's one I always ask people, like, why do you guys hire us? Like, because I really want to know what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong to fix it. And one of the things that a lot of people used to tell me, like last year when I was still doing a lot of the sales stuff and a lot of other things, it was that, oh man, I decided to do it with you because you were always there for me and you did this right and all of those things. And of course the energy was a big one. And they're like, oh man, like you got me really excited about growing my business and all these things. And I'm like, if I'm gonna do it with someone, it's gotta be Jose. So that's branding, personal brand, right? Right there.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
So you gotta leverage that. And then how do we know when we should start a podcast, Anna?
That's a great question. I think I would see it as, if you understand that podcasting is a long-term game, right? You're not going to get instant gratification, instant result if you start a podcast. You got to start a podcast for the right reasons. You got to start a podcast because you want to create community, connection. You want to like grow your network, get to know people on a deeper level, and share value with the world and make a difference. Because, like people listening to your episode, like it can make all the difference. It can make the night and day difference, you know? So it's like, if you want to start your podcast for these reasons, then you're going to be successful. But if you want to start your podcast to get rich quick or whatever, same thing for business, honestly. You know, you got to have the right intentions, the right goals, the right, you know, energy behind it. So if you're ready to do that, if you're ready to put in the work, the time that it takes to build a successful podcast, and share your message and show up powerfully, then go for it.
Yes. No, I'm with you. And something I would like to add to everything you said, my friend, is also that something I realized, you know, like you don't know how important things are, or what is more important, especially when you're starting. But something I realized like last year was that we all have to have a start of the funnel in our business, right? And I believe podcast is a great baseline or you know, value added to what you do at the beginning, where nobody knows you. You know, no one like really cares too much about you because you're not Coca-Cola, right? So so you know, they wanna, if they wanna know more, or they wanna, you know, get some piece of Anna, and knowing like, how is Anna really, like, who is she, all these things, you gotta have some sort of thing that you can share with them for free. And I think this is a great resource for everyone, you know, that is doing something important like we do, right? Because then they get a taste of Anna, they get a taste of Silvera Enterprises, or company, they get a taste of Jose Silvera, and whoever you guys, you know, are watching us, whatever business you do, you can give them a try of seeing how good, you know, or how cool you are. If in Anna's case, you know, she shares directly with the customer and helps them. So they obviously want to see, okay, let me get to meet you. And what is better than showing them, hey, this is all these interviews, 200 and some that Anna has done, which, by the way, congrats, my friend. That's incredible.
Thank you.
One day we'll have 200 here, and I'll be like, wow, I remember, and you'll probably have 2,000 by then. But you know, like, I think we all have to have a start of the funnel in our business. And I think a podcast is a great way to start building some of that, and or YouTube videos or other things. But I think a podcast has a lot of benefits and value, and we were just discussing them before we started the show today, me and Anna. And there's so many benefits. Like, I was gonna say, like, stop, we gotta start the interview, but no, I'm just kidding. But really, like, there's so many benefits, like connections, this, you know, like building your personal brand. Of course, more content that you can share in social media. You know, like, I don't know if you do or know or not, Anna, but do you follow a guy called Bradley?
Yeah.
The guy's hilarious. I love his stuff. But he's got a show. He's got a podcast. You know, and it's super cool. And he's got infinite content because of the podcast. And now we're gonna, you know, eventually start doing more of those, like, short reels with stuff like this, something really smart that we said in a podcast. Like, you already did that content. You just have to crop it, right? To cut it in pieces and then make a bunch of quality stuff. And that's what these guys do, the big guys, right?
Yeah.
They have the podcast. They have the podcast.
Yes. Exactly.
They don't make any money with the podcast. Like, I'm not charging Anna for being here. You know, I should pay her, but we're still very small, so I can get away with inviting her without paying her for now. So that, which is great. Like, you guys say, please, for being here. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's baby steps, right? Like, we're talking about baby steps. No, it's great, my friend. It's great. And then what is one thing that you would mention, or you would say that is the thing that most people screw up when they start a podcast? What is one thing that, you know, you would tell people, hey, you know, most people screw this up, like, don't screw it up like I did, or something?
Yeah. To be honest, you cannot really screw it up.
You can't?
because everything you do, everything you create, you always grow from it and you learn from it and you become better at it.
I like that.
Everyone starts somewhere, like, so I don't want you to think that it's this big, hard thing. Anyone can do podcasting, and I think that's also why I created, like, I have a mini course that teaches people how to start their podcast. Because because I know how overwhelming it is, because there's a lot of few different parts that go into it.
Yeah, totally.
So you cannot really screw it up if you do have the right intentions, if you are clear on what you help people with, because you got to have a main theme or a main topic, right, that you're going to talk about. And if you know what that is, and if you know you can help people, or if you have already helped people, having a podcast is like an extension of that, because you go on there and you share those stories, right? So if you're just being you're just sharing your stories, your experiences, you're bringing on people to share theirs, and you're giving that platform, I don't see how you can screw that up, because it's really organic. It's really like relationship based. The only tricky thing is the tech part, but that is what I show people in that course. Yeah.
Okay. And now we're gonna get into knowing more about everything that Anna does and how she can help you and her team. But Anna, like I just started my podcast and I'm like super confused and no, and I don't mean me, which I'm still confused, by the way. I'm gonna take Anna's course, but it's a lot. It really is, right? It really is. But what is that one thing that you're like, just throw a little fish there to our audience? Like, what is one thing like they're probably gonna screw up before they start, but you can like give them the that small tip that could make a little difference in especially when they're starting, like, what would that be? And I'll add something myself too.
Yeah. Okay, so if I have to think of something, I think it would be two things. The first thing is, before you officially launch the podcast, make sure to have at least 2 or 3 episodes already out, because when people stumble on your show, if you only have 1 episode, for example, you're not giving enough meat around the bone to build that excitement, to build that loyal listener, because the more you give at the beginning and they're loving what they're hearing, they're gonna subscribe and they're gonna come back. But if you only launch 1 episode, they're gonna be like, that was good, on to the next, and they're gonna forget about you.
Right.
So before you launch, make sure to have 2 to 3 episodes. And then the other thing is your show notes. So make sure to capture your interviewees' information. Make sure to re-listen to the episode and take some notes on the topics you talked about, so that you can create a really good show notes. And this is really important for SEO and for searchability, for people to like find your thing and listen to it and subscribe to it. And obviously ask people to subscribe. That's obvious, but like, I'm gonna put this out there.
You threw 3 things. You see, I love what she does. She's like, I ask her for 1 and she's like, let me give you 10. I hope that's fine. No, I love that, Anna. Thank you for that, because we're all newbies in podcasts. I include myself. And what we do is we make this show into a podcast, which is really cool. And I was just telling Anna about it. But like, I don't really know. I'm not doing the SEO stuff and all of that. I'm gonna get into Anna's course for sure and learn about it, because a podcast is great for SEO anyway. So brand recognition, podcast. A lot of people listen to the podcast because they can't watch the video. They're driving. They listen to Anna's podcast, Grant Cardone's podcast, my podcast, whatever. So it's very great. Like, people think like, oh man, but video is better. Not necessarily. It depends. Like, our audiobooks are, we don't have video books yet, so one day probably, but those are the movies. I'm like, shit, it does exist when you think about it. But you know, like what I mean is like people are driving, they're gonna crash if they put a video, right? And they can watch it on YouTube, and then they go to a podcast. And if you have a version of the podcast like we do in this show, I think that's a great tip that you can take. Great, my friend. Now let's talk about your business. How can you help us? You already told us about the course. How can we get into that course? And then, by the way, send me the link so I can put them on the description. But also, what else can you do for us? And I know you're a coach. How can we hire you? How can we get more information about working with you and all these things? Where did we go? Tell us, please.
Yes. So definitely come and follow me on Instagram at annapatricia.coach. DM me. Let's chat. Let's get to know one another. I also have a link in my bio there where you can click and you can see my different offerings and options. If you're more on Facebook, you can always find my Facebook page there. It's my name. Listen to the podcast, obviously. And I also have a free Facebook group community that you can join. It's called the Powerful Female Leaders community that you can join. And I go live there every week. I give great value. You can come, ask questions, network. And yeah, like start there and like, let's chat. Let's see what offering is best for you, because most of my things are highly personalized, like I said, to the person themselves. So yeah, we can have a chat, see what works well. And yeah, we can take it from there.
Awesome. So, and send me the links, and I'm gonna put them on the description. And follow Anna on Instagram, please, guys, and join her Facebook group. Who can join? Like, do we have to do something to join, or we just click join to the Facebook
you
group?
Click join, and then there's gonna be 3 membership questions that you have to answer, and then I'm gonna review them and then let you in.
Yeah, like the first one, are you an asshole? Like second one is like, you know, are you an asshole, or was the first true or false? No, I'm just kidding, but no, join Anna's group on Facebook. Let's get you help, and Anna is willing to talk to you, figure out what's best for you. Not everyone does that, so it's very personal. You know, make sure you check that out, because if you need help, especially if you're a business lady, right, Anna?
Yes.
Like exactly. That's your specialty. You work with business women.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially people that they're doing from 1,000 to 2,000 a month.
Yeah, well, they're starting, right? So like they've already like been doing it a few months, and then they're like, I wish I could like get to that next level and that consistency. So I would make an audit of everything they've done already and see what we can improve, what's still missing, and work on that.
Beautiful. I think it's very important, girls, especially girls, to have some help. You know, especially if you're like a mompreneur, right? You're very busy with your kids, so whatever time you have to invest properly.
Yes.
You can't be bullshitting and then you have all these other things in your plate. So the way you grow your business is not by doing a bunch of stuff. It's doing the right stuff. Yeah. So you get with Anna, book a call or chat with her, you know, talk to her. She's going to be able to help you a lot. And, you know, anything else you need or have a question or about something, she's very cool. You can leave it in the comments too. And she'll be around and she can reply, I'm sure. And if not, just go on Instagram or to her website and all this stuff and contact her. That's great. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I'm gonna get into that course because I really want to learn how to improve the podcast stuff, because I have more content, but no one is caring about the SEO or this thing or the other. So yeah. It actually has the same description from YouTube, which is terrible, right? Like you said, we gotta add more to it, and it's a whole different format. So no, we totally have to improve that. So I'm gonna get into Anna's course. That's a promise. And then tell us now, my friend, what are the next big things that Anna and what is the name of your company, Anna?
It's annapatricia.coach.
Well, what is next for Anna, Patricia, and
Yeah.
what is the next big goal for you
Yeah,
guys?
my next big goal is like I've recently launched a group program and a
Mhm.
mastermind, and I'm doing this thing I've never done before because I used to really be focused on strategy a lot.
Mhm.
But I noticed that the mindset and the energetics of business is as important as the strategy. So I'm diving deeper into those topics in that program and that mastermind, and truly growing that faith, that trust, that certainty, and inner power, inner gifts of what we
Yeah.
have to offer, and creating that self-awareness as well, right? Because most of the time we're the ones blocking our success because we have so many mindset drama going on, so many things that come up. So I want to really be there to show people how to really harness that, and being aware of that when it happens, so we can create even more powerful business results for ourselves.
Mhm. I see that people like they always this happens to so many people, Anna, and I'm sure
Mhm.
you've seen this. Is like they either go all the way with the hype and I'm gonna do this and it's gonna be insane and all this and they get to do some execution, right? But they're totally missing the other part, which is the strategic part, which is
Yeah.
what you said you used to do more and now you're trying to do more of the other. I think we need both. Like when I started business, that the drive, I had a lot of drive, but and I was like super
Mm.
into Grant Cardone, and I still am, right? And I probably should go back more to it because, like I said, you need a lot from
Mhm.
you need many things, not just being hyped up or drive or the drive, right?
Mhm.
Because if you don't have strategy, the drive is gonna get you somewhere, but then you're gonna get stuck.
Mhm.
You don't have strategy, you don't have knowledge, you don't have help like from Anna, a
Mhm.
coach, you don't have those things. So you're gonna get to a certain place, which it's gonna be a lot better than without the drive, of course. But you're gonna, and this happened to me, you're gonna get burnout, which is something that Anna will help you with. And I did say it at the beginning. She helps you with the burnout, the stress, feeling overwhelmed, and
Mhm.
that's exactly what I got. When I started with my coach. So if you're just driven and stuff, the I don't know how to say that, but the drivenness. I don't know what if that's
Mhm.
the word. I don't think it is, but the
The
drivenness,
ambition.
whatever it is, you're driven. But you're gonna be driven until you start losing enough that you're like, man,
Mhm.
oh my god, nothing I try works because you lack a strategy, you lack knowledge, and you lack the right help from a
Mhm.
coach, for example.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna get tired and you're gonna feel like, man, this is a waste of time. And
Mm.
I was in that situation for a year and a half
Oh
until
wow.
I said, like, man, I have to do something about this. And I really, started like learning way more and asking more people and stuff. My mistake was not getting a coach at that time. It didn't
Mm.
prove that I made some wrong decisions at the time because I was trying to do everything by my own, learning and
Mhm.
executing things and
Yeah.
everything. And I was able to grow the team and everything, but I know I could have been doing it a lot easier and in the right places where now I don't have to downscale, but I have to slow down,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't
Yeah.
like that. They like to blow up. So I'm like, shit, oh my gosh, shit, I can't blow up. That frustrates me, but it's because you need help. So
Yeah.
I've been stressing this. Probably people is tired of hearing it, but I gotta stress it because we are used from the corporate world and school teaches us all of this shit, this crap that is like you gotta do everything, try to do it yourself, and don't ask for help and stuff like that. So we are ingrained to think that way, which is
Mhm.
stupid in the business world. I think it's stupid everywhere you go, but especially in the business world because you're not an expert. You probably suck at everything because you just started. Being honest, right?
Mhm.
You're probably just good at doing something like carpentry, web design. In my case, when I started, I didn't know anything about business, just
Mm.
marketing and websites, which are related, and some sales, which are related as well. and that helped me a lot until a point. That at that point, I didn't know what to do, and you can only do more of what you know, and you think that's gonna be enough, but you just keep doing that, and you're gonna get burnout because it's like a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
You need the other pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love business, but it's difficult. Super hard. Oh yeah, yeah. And like what was a time where you felt like that? Like you felt, God, this is so crazy. Or I don't know, maybe not quitting, not to the point where you wanted to quit, but what was a time where you were like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this, or this is so hard. I can't believe this is so hard.
Yeah, like I shared at the beginning, when I started this whole thing, it took me 6 months to actually close my first client. And in those 6 months, there were many times where I felt like giving up. I was like, this is not working. I was getting frustrated. Like I was trying everything. Nothing was working. But it's in the slowing down and in the trusting that this is working. I'm not seeing it just yet, but I know it is. And it's holding on to the small evidence, right? Because I guarantee you there are people right now who are telling you that you're amazing, who are telling you that you're so inspirational, who are following you right now, who are joining your group, who are listening to your podcast. Like all those things, it all matters. Yeah. So if you hang on to that and you're like, okay, I helped one more person today. I did this. And you focus on the small wins. And you're like, I'm progressing every single day. I'm getting better every single day. This will happen. I know it will happen. And it's keeping that faith when things are not going the way you want them to go just yet, So that's truly what helped me during that really hard time. And then the other thing that happened too is that when I did hit that big cash month, I ended up burned out again after that, because what happened is I lowered my standards. I was like, I'm going to charge very little for this and it's going to sell out. And that's why, like I had all these people come in all at once and I was just like, what's happening? So I've learned from that. I've learned from this and I'm like, okay, these are my standards. These are my boundaries. These are the hours that I will work with the clients. This is how I'm going to schedule my calls. This is how it's going to happen. And then going out there and doing it again and again and again and getting better at it every single time. That's how you learn. That's how you become really, really great at what you do.
Yes, no, you're 100% right. And thank you so much. We're not done yet, my friend. I got 2 more questions for you, but I just want to say thank you, Ana, and God bless you. And thank you for being here. And it's been awesome. Please, everyone, I want you to say thank you to Ana. And another thing I want you to say is leave in the comments, what is your struggle right now? What are you struggling with, please? And, of course, we can, give you some quick advice, something that's going to help you. Ultimately, that's not going to be enough. Like I said, you need more help, constant help, a person that is going to be there with you. And, you probably need a team because you're going to get burned out. Like we've been there, Ana and I. Yeah. It sucks. I'm telling you, especially if you're driven right now, you're like, I've had people, Ana, that they told me, I'm never going to get burned out. I thought that was me too. I thought like, man, there's no way this is going to stop, I was like, man, I'm like, I can't stop. Like, it's impossible. No one's going to stop me until you start getting like a little frustrated. And, we're weak, unfortunately, but we're strong with help for sure. Need a little bit of help. But yes, guys, so leave in the comments, what is your challenge right now? What is getting you frustrated? And we're going to do our best to help you. And the last 2 questions, my friend, 2 questions are, what are the best 3 books that you would recommend to our audience here? Best 3 business books, unless it's something that that is going to help them personally so much that, that you really want to share it.
This book here. A Happy Pocket
Full of
Full
Money.
of Money. Yes, this book is really changing the game.
Okay.
So go get it, and you're gonna
Uh-huh.
thank me later.
Awesome.
I guess
That's
the other
one.
books are Atomic Habits. I don't know if you heard about it.
Atomic Habits.
Yes, it's a really
I
great
have
book.
it. I have it. Yes.
Yes.
Haven't read it yet, but I have it.
Awesome. And then I also love the series of Jen Sincero, like You Are a Badass at Making Money.
You
I
are
know she has
badass
like
at making money.
Yeah, I know she has a few different books in that series, but all of her books are really great too.
Yes, and you got the book reading habit stuff started from Ty Lopez, right?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. You know, I hate when people don't know shit about other people and they talk shit about them. Like, for example, Ty Lopez, like, everybody hates on the guy. Now he's off the scene more. But I remember, like, people would say, and I would hear and see the comments online of the stuff he did, and it was, like, terrible. Like, and people that, of course, they've never done it, right? Like, they've never taken a course and that's, you know, my hopes is that one day we'll get there, because that means we're doing good. You and I, Anna. Because if people are talking shit about you, it's because you're doing something important enough that it's getting some people pissed off, you know? So no, it's great. But I could never, it's like Grant Cardone. People say nasty things about Grant Cardone, and without Grant Cardone, I can say here and put my hands on fire for the guy, because I wouldn't be where I'm at. But of course, I wouldn't be where I'm at without Robert Kiyosaki and this guy who, big shout out to him, David Finkel, the author of this book, Scale. I recommend it to anyone. They're my business coaches too, and they're awesome. But you know, like it's something that it's so.
I do have the 10x rule.
Yeah, you got the 10x rule. Awesome.
You read it?
I've read all Grant Cardone books. The only one I haven't listened, because it's brand new, is the 10x Mentor. Just came out, 10x Mentor, and it, you know, it's like. But I know the guy. Like, I know his brain. Like, almost like, or I mean, the guy who shows up there, because of course we're not 100% that person, right? I believe that we show, you know, like, we're the real Jose and the real Anna with her family and stuff. You know, and I'm the, of course, like, we show our best version here. Not saying that I'm not this Jose or anything, but of course I'm being honest, right? Like, I'm honest. So we're not perfect. You can maybe you see us and you're like, oh, these guys are perfect. No, we're not perfect. We're human as you, and make a lot of mistakes. I'm not like made so many mistakes. You guys have no idea. Crazy, stupid mistakes too. Great, my friend. The last question is 3 things that you could tell our friends here. 3 tips that you think they need the most at this time, where, you know, they just started a business or they're about to start a business. What are the best 3 tips you could give them?
I think the first one is to fill your own cup first, right? So the way we prevent burning out, to fill your own cup, to practice self-care, you know, like, do things for you first, right? So if meditating helps you, do that. If reading helps you, do that. If going for a walk helps you, do that. If drinking more water makes you feel more awake, do that. Like, do something for you first before helping others.
Got it.
That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is making sure to join communities with like-minded people, right? I love to be in Facebook groups with other coaches, other entrepreneurs, other people who think big, who have big dreams, who have big ambitions, who are driven. And who you hang out with will highly influence you and your choices and your mindset. So always make sure to join rooms where the big players are at.
100%, 100%. With
Yeah.
you, 100%.
And the last thing I would say is behind the fears is the mind-blowing thing you're looking for, right? Because your brain wants to keep you safe. Your brain wants to keep you in the familiar because the unknown is scary, right?
Oh, yeah.
Doing the scary thing is not for everyone. People fear to change. But if you can start small and start doing one thing you're afraid of doing every day, you're going to end the year with so many things you've overcome, and you're going to notice like, oh, that wasn't that bad after all.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. I think it's like trying that meal that you were like, oh man, that's disgusting. But you try it and you're like, man, this is so great. Like, I can't believe I've never tried this before, you know? And I'm sure that's like the case for a lot of people. And like, you know, shout out to my wife because she always does that. She's like, oh, like I remember she said like, oh, I don't like sushi. And I'm like, I mean, when I met her, right? Like 6 years ago. And I was like, no, 7 years ago or something. And I was like, but have you tried it? And she's like, no, but it looks nasty. I don't like fish, like it's raw fish and stuff. And I'm like, well, let's go try it. And then you tell me. And all like olives, she also does that. She used to say like, oh, I don't like olives. Now she loves olives, like But so try it out, and yeah, I love all of Anna's tips. The first one is fill your own cup first. Before you help other people. I love that. And I would tell that a lot to myself first, and of course other people then later, because it's a big thing. We're trying to be in everyone's lives, and our life is a mess, unfortunately. Then join communities with other people that are like-minded. That's the second tip she gave. And she said Facebook groups with like other coaches in her case, other plumbers, if that's your case, or something. Like go to the Association of Plumbers in Las Vegas or whatever. Join a group and you'll share pains. And this is something I did yesterday. I met this dude. I already knew the guy, but we're friends now, and he owns a digital marketing and web design company as well. But we're used to, oh, that's my competitor, whatever. He's in Las Vegas too, but we don't even see each other as competitors because we're all doing our stuff in our way. So it doesn't really matter. What is cool is that he gave me a lot of tips and I gave him a lot of tips, and we're just gonna grow. And and like in my case, and everyone watching here, I don't really care anymore about giving tips to people because, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because it's kind of true. Unfortunately, is that one thing is something you say, and it could be an amazing trick that you develop over the years, but very, very few people is gonna really execute on it. So I don't really care anymore. Like, oh, like you know what? Like if I give this advice, like Anna has thrown here a lot of huge tips, that she charges people to teach in some of her courses. Of course, there's more meat to the bone in her stuff, but she's throwing some cool free stuff here for you guys. But a few percentage of you is gonna implement it, okay? And I was thinking the other day, that's why probably these guys in colleges, they say like a few of you are gonna graduate, because they want to get people, because they want to get people to say, shit, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna graduate, like I'm not gonna quit. So I think it's a good strategy is to like. Excuse my language, like touch people's balls that way, because they're gonna, you know what I mean? You're probably not, you probably haven't been in a podcast like this one where I say stupid shit like that, Anna, but I am crazy, so I don't care. But like really, like I've done that, even closing deals, I've done that, and people are like, you know what, I'm gonna buy this fucking website because this guy pissed me off, So people, that motivates some people. I don't know if that's the right way, but whatever, like it works. So I think it's important that you do things, first for you and stuff. And like the second thing, join the communities, help each other. It's huge. Other people in your industry could have that one tip that you're missing that could blow your business up. But you don't, your ego is so big that is bigger than your business is ever gonna be. I'm sorry to say it, guys, but yes, it's sad, but that's what it is. And then the third thing she said is behind the fears that you have. That's where the success is. Like, whatever it's keeping you from success is probably something you have not done. Like trying olive sushi. It's probably keeping you from success. Not eating sushi with a customer. Probably no. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Like every time you do something new or someone says something, like I've had people, Anna, telling me, "Oh, I don't follow up," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I don't go after people. If they want to do business with me, they'll come back." And I'm like, man, that's crazy. So why don't you try? Why don't you try it instead of like being so egocentric, right? Like just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm the shit, so I'm the best." So and then I ask them over. No, and of course I do that a lot now because there's so many fake people that I just go and ask them, like, and when they say stuff like that, I'm like, okay, how much did you make last month, right? And then they say, oh, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. Oh, we're just starting, man. So it's very, it varies a lot. And I'm like, yeah, but what was last month, And then they're like, oh, it was 1,000. And then I'm like, you see, well, if you follow up, I'm sure you could move that up or whatever. Like it's fine. And then of course I say that too. When I know that probably they're gonna listen is when I say it. If I know for a fact they're not gonna even listen to what I'm saying, I don't even care. I'm like, oh man, that's great. Good job there. Not following up, man. I have never thought of that. Like that's shit. That's incredible, man. I really have to start doing that stuff. But anyways, no, thank you so much, Anna. Don't leave yet because I don't know if you still have some time to talk, but yeah, no, it was super fun, and I got to like do a lot of bad mouthing and stuff. That's always good. Yeah, I think that keep things real, and people enjoy that because it's like we're kind of business and stand-up comedy. That's fine. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I would like that. If I was I remember when I used to watch Grant Cardone's podcast a lot. He would do that, and I was like, man, at least he put some fun to the thing, because if not, it's all boring. It's all business and stuff, and business it's not like it's boring. It's my passion, but some people don't understand things and they get bored. So, but anyways, guys, thank you so much. Please say thank you, Anna, in the comments. Woo! It was a great episode. Thank you, everyone that has been, in the live with us. I really appreciate it. Subscribe. We're about to hit 3,000.
Yay!
And that is in the YouTube channel. So that's the advice that Anna gave, is always ask for the subscription. And I'm not doing it. So thank you, Anna, right there. Like already helping me, and I haven't even started the course. You see? So
yes.
Thank you, guys. God bless you. Thank you, Anna. And we'll see you in the next episode.